coronavirus pandemic is uh, eroding a lot of gains across the globe, taking away lives and destroying homes, and it's causing a lot of headache for governments and economies across the globe. Africa has not been an exception. We've been hit so hard, even though we haven't had so much of cases. But then it is predicted, or it is envisaged that the impact is going to be so severe in the few coming months. Economies across the globe are facing huge challenges with respect to GDP growth, with respect to food security, food shortage, with respect to making sure that they have enough to take care of their people. Ghana, as a country, we have also had our own fair share, and I want to say that I commend the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and his government for the work they're doing. I think they need to be commended because on daily basis, on constant basis, they are giving updates to the citizenry to get to know what's happening. And I want to say to everybody that the times we are in are not the best, and for us to keep safe and to protect our lives, we need to adhere to what the health professionals are saying, observing social distancing, which is very key. Everywhere we find ourselves, we should be sure and ensure that we are observing social distancing. Secondly, we need to adhere to the fact that we need to always wash our hands frequently, and at least 20 seconds under running water with soap, and using a hand sanitizer is very key, and it is very, very important that we observe that. Fortunately for us, the President of the Republic of Ghana has granted free water for all households across the country, and in his recent address, he made mention of government absorbing 50% of electricity bill for every household, which is a good thing that the president is doing. But then I want to say that there has been a lot of projections with respect to our economic gains and our economic growth, with GDP growth and all that. But with the COVID-19 setting in, the dynamics have changed. One of the key things that we are going to be feeling is the growth in our economy. We are not going to be experiencing that kind of growth that was projected to be close to 6% of GDP growth. We're not going to experience that. We're going to have a severe cut, because reason being that government revenue is not going to come in. Everything has come to a standstill with the partial lockdown of Accra, Kumasi, Tema, and Takoradi. We all know that these are the major economic cities of our country, and operations have come to a halt. So government revenue is going to reduce drastically. It was projected that government is going to rake in some 65 billion Ghana cedis in tax revenue. It much more looks like government is going to lose almost half of that amount. So government revenue is going to reduce drastically, which simply means that government is not going to be able to take care of their infrastructure development capital projects that has been promised. And unfortunately for us as a country, this is an election year, and government will need a lot of money to be able to meet some of the promises that they have made to the people of Ghana. But then the good thing about it is that there is a good side to every story. Fortunately for us, China, which is our biggest business partner, where most of our imports are coming from, shops and factories and companies have been closed down, and so most of our imports are not going to come in. The other thing is that we are not going to be getting the kind of materials, the kind of equipment and all that we normally would want to use to push our industries in order to be able to generate some revenue. So the good thing to all this is that, fortunately for us, the rains are setting in, and we all know on record that almost 65% of the population of Ghana and household are mainly into agriculture. What it simply means is that We have the capacity to produce for ourselves, feed ourselves, and export some. The dynamics of the world, the global economy is changing drastically, and beginning of third quarter of this year, a lot of countries are going to have issues with food. So any economy or any country that positions itself around this time to produce enough food to feed its people or her people and countries around her and export some is going to make a lot of revenue. That is a good thing about it. And I'm suggesting and advising government that government should begin to immediately put in a strategy and a policy document to have a negotiation with all the commercial banks that we have to extend loans and facilities to all the farming communities and farmers in Ghana without any interest or collateral. That is the first thing. Secondly, I am also proposing that government will quicken its pace by extending facilities to individuals in the country who are ready to go into farming. It could be any kind of farming. Staple foods, maize, rice, millet, and all that. And then our vegetables, and all the other things that we plant. This is the time for us to be able to go into farming and farm more. Secondly, government should also give some relief or packages or what you call stimulus package for individuals who are ready to go into fishery, to go into poultry and rearing of animals. This is the time for us to position ourselves, because the rest of the world will be looking for food across the globe, and any country that will be able to feed the rest of the world will make a lot of money around this time, and will be able to rake in a lot of foreign direct currency, which will help in stabilizing our economy and our currency, which has had a lot of issues. The other thing I want to suggest to government is a lot of people have lost income. Companies are shut down, businesses have shut down, some private institutions are not working. It is only the essential companies or essential workers who are still working. And so a lot of people are losing salary and profit. What I want to advise government to do is to put a package together to hold families together. What I'm simply saying is that this is the time for government to extend a cash relief to every household. At least a minimum of 1,000 Ghana cedis to every household. Government will ask, where will the money come from? Fortunately for us as a country, we are getting some money from IMF, we are getting some money from World Bank, and our people are home, they are not working. It will get to a point they will become bored. If COVID-19, which is the coronavirus, is not killing people, hunger is going to kill people. And so for us to prevent that, that is why I'm suggesting that other countries have done it. Canada took the initiative, they did it, and they're supporting their family, they are supporting household, how the economy is also responding, because GDP growth responds to economic activities. GDP growth responds to economic activities. So Canada has done it. The US, which is the United States of America, took the initiative, and they have also done it. They have extended cash to citizenry. India, which is the most populated nation on earth, is putting in a measure to also extend cash relief to its people. The reason is simple. In times like this, you need your economy to keep moving. And economic growth and GDP growth will always happen and only happen when there is economic activities. And economic activities only transpire when individuals have cash. And so we have nothing to lose when government puts in this stimulus package to support each household. That is what I'm saying, that it has been done in other places. We can do it. We have the money to do it. Somebody will ask, where would the money come from? We have the money, and government can do that. Government needs to do this. 1, to prevent hunger. 2, to prevent social vices, because when people are bored, when people don't have anything to do and people are hungry, they begin to sit outside and we might have serious problems. We want to prevent that. Again, we want to make sure that we are encouraging people to go into farming. We are encouraging people to think outside the box and begin to begin to plant something at home and go into some agriculture. Because the good thing is we have a history to it, which we have done before. In 1972, between the period of 1972 and 1978, when Ignatius Kuntu Echampo was in power, the Operation Feed Yourself, which to some extent government is doing a bit of it in respect to planning for food and jobs. This is the time for government to push that agenda. Put a stimulus package together and encourage young people, the youth we have in our crowd who are choked, who are not doing anything, to get into the farms and farm. Once government is extending this money, believe you me, Ghanaians will go and do the farming, and we'll have a lot to feed ourselves and a lot to feed our neighboring countries and the rest of the world. That will bring us a lot of foreign direct income. We need to do that. My last point before I go is that government can actually and should begin to have negotiations and talks with the AU and the UN branch of Africa to look at how all our interest payments on the debt we have so far be cancelled. Other countries are pushing for it. I know Nigeria is pushing for it. I know South Africa is pushing for it. I know Angola is pushing for it. These are the 3 biggest economies we have in Africa. They are pushing for cancellation of interest on all their debts. I know this country, there is another country that is doing that. So West Africa, Ghana can take the initiative, and I believe you me, it will be bought into, they will buy into the idea, and we are likely to have a cancellation, which means that we are not going to have any interest payments on all of our debts, and it's going to lead to the benefits of government. That means there will be cash for government. Cash that should be used to service debts will now be available for government to do other things with. So in the short, all I'm just trying to say is that we are not in normal times. Let's adhere to the experts' advice, washing our hands under running water with soap and using the hand sanitizer, making sure that we are observing social distancing. If you're running a temperature above 100, call the helplines and call the health practitioners to attend to you. Let us protect ourselves and protect our country. Trust me, COVID-19 is a game changer for African countries. If African countries and if as black people begin to look beyond COVID-19, believe you me, this is a game changer for Africa, because we have the land, we have the people, we have the land, we have the people, and we have what it takes to grow and feed the world. The West is going to have challenges in feeding its people. We have what it takes and the capacity to do it. Let us get to work. Let's get our hands around the wheel, but it will take government initiative to push this agenda. Thank you and be safe. Bye.